with a comet. Now that requires communication.
Mr. Control, this is the spacecraft. We're making final preparations to launch the probe.
Observation.
Okay, what's the next question?
Teamwork, that's it! Teamwork!
Yes. Spacecraft. This is mission
So
control.
boys and girls, put on your spacesuits! We're going on a field trip! Pack up your juice pack, put them in your backpack. Yippee-ki, yippee, yippee, yip! Don't be slow, we're ready to go. We're leaving on a field trip. There's so much to discover, so much to do and see. Who knows what we'll uncover? And I'm waiting patiently. We'll take a hike, we'll ride a bike, we'll dig for dinosaurs. We'll sing a song, so come along. It's time to go explore. Captain Commandant Space Patrol, just checking everything, making sure everything is lined up properly in the cosmos. Okay, you caught me looking up everything in my star chart. Well, I can't remember where everything is. Space has challenged our imagination since the beginning of time, as mankind has gazed up at the stars and wondering what's beyond our Earth. It's called astronomy, the study and calculation of the stars and the universe. Now, in the beginning, the only tools an astronomer had were his eyes and his mind. Later, Galileo invented the telescope. Today, technology, combined with mankind's thirst for knowledge about the universe, has invented all kinds of tools like probes and satellites and rockets.
Welcome to the Challenger Learning Center. Washington, D.C. is the national headquarters for the 29 Challenger Centers in North America.
Challenger Center is a unique experience that gives kids an opportunity to enjoy space.
It's a classroom with computers and laser discs and probe parts instead of textbooks, but it's learning.
They've learned that to be in the space program, you don't have to be the astronaut. There are many, many, many jobs that entail getting an astronaut into space.
The Challenger Center was started 10 years ago by the families of the Space Shuttle Challenger crew who lost their lives on that mission. On board that flight was teacher Christy McCullough, and the Challenger Center for Space Education continues with their mission to educate.
Look at that! Looks like we've picked up some young volunteers in our effort to rendezvous with a comet. But before they blast off, they have to prepare themselves for space.
Good morning. As you know, we need to prepare for our trip to the Challenger Center. There's a lot of different tasks that are going to be done and a lot of expectations for all of you. And so to prepare, we want to go over some different skills and do some different activities leading up to that.
And if you look around this room right now, you are placed in groups with problems to solve. So why do you think today we have made this setup the way we have?
Because then we're learning how to work with the team a lot easier.
You're absolutely right.
Each member of the group has a task. The principal investigator is the leader.
Just like me, Captain Comet!
Should be data recorder report.
The reporter tells us what's happening in the group, while the observer makes sure everything is being used and recorded correctly. The data recorder writes everything down to be studied and reviewed by the research analyst. And the materials clerk makes sure they have everything they need for their experiments.
One of the red, round things that look like a wheel.
Good communication skills are important in this activity. One person builds a probe and has to tell their partner how to build one just like it. The trick is, you can't watch or see what each other is doing.
What were some of the terms that she used that helped you?
Well, she used the colors and...
Okay, the colors made a difference. So giving you a good description of the pieces.
This team is studying how craters are formed. Small rocks become meteoroids that smash into our moon surface of flour and cocoa.
Now you are crashing on the moon, you're there, you're surviving. Thomas is not happy with the ranking.
This group is lost on the moon. They have to agree on what they can use to survive in an emergency.
We're not gonna just stay there. I mean, we're not gonna just stay in one area. Yeah, I got it.
At the orbit station, we learned that orbits aren't always perfect circles. Things like comets have elliptical orbits, meaning stretched out like an oval. This group is learning about the shape of comets. Comets come in all shapes, just like potatoes.
Potatoes? Hear that, guys? They think we look like a bunch of potato heads.
Here, we also learn about circumference. That's a measurement around an object. And volume, that's how much space an object takes up.
So how many milliliters of volume did that potato take? 100. The point is that you're measuring how much change there is in the water level.
Okay, communications, problem solving, teamwork. I think our crew is ready for the mission.
Field trip will be right back after these messages. And now back to field trip.
Good morning. My name is Commander Robert. I'm going to be the commander in the spacecraft today. This is Commander Teresa. We're going to be assisting you on your mission to rendezvous with a comet.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about comets. The word comet comes from the Latin stel cometa. It means hairy star. They're called that because comets have a bright stream of light that trails behind them that looks like a hairy, fiery tail. Now, because of that, people used to think that comets were bad luck. But we know better. Comets aren't bad at all. They don't bring bad luck. Comets are wonderful.
We're here in the Challenger Center. Does anybody know why we call it a Challenger Center?
It was started because the Challenger mission, when it blew up, and it's kind of like in memory of the people who died.
Exactly. Today's mission, what is it about? What is our goal?
To rendezvous with a comet.
Are we really going into space today?
No.
All right, this is a simulated mission. What does that mean? Anybody else know? Raise your hand if you know what a simulated mission is.
Simulation. That's simulation.
Why does an astronaut use simulation?
To get him prepared for what he's really going to have to go through.
Right.
Good.
What's a comet?
Comets? Now we're talking. That's my area of expertise.
It's a big ball of dust and ice that streaks through the space in an orbit, and the tail always points away from the sun.
Great. Super. All right. The goal of our mission then is to reach the comet and to study it. We're going to be sending out a probe to the comet. And the name of our comet we're studying today is Comet Encke.
Enki! Hey, move on! There's a crew coming up to take a closer look at you.
And the probe team is going to be building a probe and launching it into the comet. Now, we're about to get started. Are you ready?
The mission is about to begin, Bob, and as you can see, the mission control is settling in.
Good morning. I want to welcome you to Mission Control. This is a mock-up of the actual mission control that we have here in the United States. Where is that mission control?
Houston, Texas.
Okay, Houston, Texas. That's absolutely right.
The astronauts are about to board their spacecraft.
All right, follow me, folks. We're now entering the transfer vehicle. This is going to take us up into orbit where we're docked with our space station. And I'm going to turn the airlock into position for just a moment. When we step into the airlock, what we want you to do is step into the center of the circle. Do not lean on the door because that will break the seal. When you get inside, step out, find your vest at your station, go ahead and have a seat and get settled. All right, first, next 4 people, go ahead and step in. Go ahead. Hang on just a second, guys. Step in the center, don't lean on the wall. Here we go.
As you know, mission control is the controllers of the mission, and your job is to help the astronauts do their job. So let's check to make sure we have all the equipment we need.
The engines are firing up.
So what we're going to do now is open up our manuals. We're going to read with our partners together out loud to find out what is our very first step, what is our job, and activating the station.
Activating the station. That's how Mission Control knows where you are. The last thing I want to tell you is to read your instructions very, very carefully, and you'll have a great success.
The first first job in the spacecraft is to establish communications with mission control.
Mission Control, this is the spacecraft. Requesting a communications check. Do you read us? Over.
Just like real astronauts, our crew will be performing experiments in space. There are 8 workstations in the space lab. Each has a partner team in mission control.
Spacecraft, this is Mission Control. The message for the med team is we are ready
The
to
medical
receive data.
teams test how space may affect our body and mind. The communications and data teams send all the messages and pictures between the spacecraft and mission control.
Meteor number 1 is dark gray in color and has a rough texture and is dull luster.
The remote teams gather information about meteoroids, while the isolation teams check for radioactivity in these materials.
Mission Control, this is spacecraft.
I have a message for the navigator team. Please send us the X and
The
Y.
navigation teams are responsible for locating the comet and launching the probe, which is being built by the probe teams.
Remove everyone here the PN 613, PN 311, and PN 312. Okay, done.
The life support teams will monitor the environment in the spacecraft. These guys, they're not aliens. They're our field trip crew. Paige, Jay, Jeff, and Allison. They're on a mission to bring this field trip to you.
Field trip will be right back after these messages. We now return to field trip.
Captain Comet here. When we last left our crew, they were heading right on course for Comet Inky. Let's check the status of their mission.
The probe teams are making progress.
Spacecraft, this is Mission Control. The message for ISO is chest 2 first. Over.
Using a test, put cable from the wall.
Okay, what's the next question?
Mission control in Houston would call this mission nominal. That means everything's going as planned. Or is it?
The navigation team has found an unknown object, and we are now going to get information on this object in mission control.
Mission Control, we have confirmed that. We have encountered an unknown celestial object. I think we need to find out what this is.
We got to determine what it is, and we don't know what it is, so we got to go to the research computers. Let's go.
Spacecraft, this is Mission Control. I have a message.
Did you get it initialized?
I think
What was his,
coordinates,
yeah, the coordinates, the start coordinates?
14 HM plus 20.
May I have your attention, crew? Mission Control has decided to switch course and now intercept the new object, which is a long-period comet, and we're switching our focus away from Comet Inky.
Looks like the probe team may have to make a few changes.
Stand 4, stand 1. Over.
May I have your attention, please? We have an emergency. We have an emergency on life support.
Now comes a big lesson in teamwork and problem solving.
Apparently, our spacecraft is having an oxygen leak problem, and our teams will have to work to solve that problem.
We're going to show you it on the camera.
Show you it on the camera.
Please help us.
Please help us.
Your job is to find out which way the valve should go to make sure that they can do a bypass. They have an oxygen reserve.
Zoom in on that top section for me, please,
Top section.
where the lights are.
Check the flow. If you're having a good flow, it's going from left to right. We need green lights going left to right.
You got to compare.
The red lights on the panel show where the oxygen flow is
We
going.
need to make the oxygen look like that.
The fate of the mission is in the hands of the life support teams on Earth and in space.
1 minute of air. Work quickly. 1 minute of air.
Come on, guys. You can do it. Talk it out.
Green, green. Mission Control. Please look at the camera too. Do we have the right solution? Over.
There's a red light. Bottom light, top area needs to be green. But the light is SV1. Over. SV1 to left. SV1 to left. Left.
Come on already.
We're not quite sure the instruction that you're giving. Could you be a little bit more specific?
It needs to be green.
They did it, they did it.
Okay,
They did it.
Spacecraft, this is Mission Control. The problem has been solved. Good job. Over.
Congratulations, the life support has saved the crew. How about a round of applause for a great job?
That was close, but I knew they could do it. Communication, teamwork, that's all they needed.
The probe is almost ready for launch.
Mission Control, we are now standing by for launch code.
Spacecraft, this is Mission Control. The probe launch code is Alpha Blue 9. Over.
We're going to have a countdown. When we get to 1, I want you to click launch on your screen. And I want everybody else to watch these 2 monitors up here. This is our mission status. This is our data select. These 2 screens will show us the launch. Send that message now.
Mission Control, this is the spacecraft. Launch information has been entered into the computer. Stand by for countdown. Over.
The final probe parts are being closed away. Everyone will be gathering around the navigation station, and the door will be closed. All computer screens are off, and everyone is observing the mission status monitor.
10,
9,
8, 7,
6, 5,
4, 3,
2, 1.
launch activated. Congratulations.
nice job.
The probe is on the way. Now, if we look up here, we're now tracking the probe. And we can see on our data select monitor, there it is. Great job, probe team.
All right, there's our probe. There's the tail of our comet. We're heading for, okay, we are receiving telemetry. You've got your comet. You've got the coma, which is the outer portion of the comet. You've got the middle section of the comet. What is that middle section of the comet? Yes, sir.
Nucleus.
The nucleus of the comet is like a snowball. It's ice, rock, and dust, and gases. And when it melts, when it comes close to the sun, it makes the coma, which is the gas cloud that surrounds it. And then the tail is actually millions of miles long, made up of dust and gas. Here's a picture close-up of the nucleus now. Now, the sun is hitting the comet at an angle, and that white part is the gas jets that have opened up in the back to form the tail. The dark spot at the top is actually the rocky part of the nucleus itself, and it's roughly potato-shaped. Now you see why you study a potato to learn about what a comet is, because it's a rough shape, and the gas jets have opened up in the back to form the tail. We're now going to analyze a gas sample that has been trapped by the probe as it went through. I'm going to ask you to go ahead and let go of that microphone, and I'm going to pass these glasses around. Take the basket from me, and take a pair, please.
When they put on their spectrum glasses, that gas will then be broken down into these colors. Which one will it be?
Each gas has a different fingerprint under spectrum analysis. And these glasses, if you put them on now and look up at the light in the ceiling, tell me what you see. You're going to see some colors.
Gases have their own color fingerprint or spectrum fingerprint. Depending on the gases, that will be its color spectrum.
What we're going to do is look over at this light over here in the spectrum analysis box at number 1. We're going to turn that on, and we're going to see if we can see some light. You need to start with red and read to the right and tell me the colors you see, please.
Red, blue, purple. Mission Control, this is the spacecraft. Colors in the bright line spectrum that we see are red, blue, purple. What gas do you think we are viewing? Over.
Okay, do we have any questions before we make a decision?
Is there any teal in the color sequence?
Spacecraft, this is Mission Control. Is there any teal, light green, or light blue in the comet colors? Over.
Mission Control, we are going to repeat the colors.
The colors we see are?
The colors we see are
Repeat again. Red.
red, blue, purple. Over.
Okay, Mission Control, we've gotten information about the gases that we're looking at, and what gas do we think it is? Hydrogen, very good, and you asked some very good questions that help clarify that.
Mission Control, this is the spacecraft. Our mission has been successful. We will see you back on Earth. Over.
Congratulations on a job well done.
We did it!
Field Trip will be right back after these messages.
And now back to Field Trip.
All right, give yourselves a hand for a great job.
All right!
Go ahead and have a seat, please.
All right,
Have a
take
seat.
your seat.
We want to first of all tell you that you did a great job. job, and we had a successful mission, and every team here played a part in the mission's success. What we also want to ask you now is, who did any science today?
I was one of the life support teams, and with the oxygen, it was hard because you had to figure out how you could have it flow through and keep the space team alive. So you had to use science there.
Who did math? Who did math today of any kind? Back here in the back.
I was in the med team, and you needed to add up all the reaction times and then divide them by 3, so you could get the average reaction time and heartbeat time.
Great. Who used any other skills today that you think might apply to a real space mission? In the front here.
Communicating, if you were like the communication team, you'd have to get the message and make sure that other people got it, and it might help in a real space mission.
Great. How about here in the yellow shirt right
You don't just need communication when you're the communication team. You need to communicate to your teammates. You need to communicate to the other people who are working on your project. You need to communicate to get things done.
When you were in your mission, did you find that things went perfectly smooth, just according to the book? Did you find that happening? Did that mission go perfectly smooth for you at all times?
Sometimes it did.
Sometimes. And what happened that caused it not to go smooth?
Like if someone didn't get a message and it might have got confusing with other people.
Oh, so you're saying lots of people needed each other to work together? Okay, good, good. How many people on this side worked with the potato yesterday? All right, what did you do with that potato yesterday?
We had to measure it to see how long it was and how wide. And then we'd have to find out the volume of it by putting it in water and just measuring the water before you put it in, and then subtracting that to see how much the potato weighed.
Did that have anything to do with your comet mission? Did it help you in any way?
You had to do that in the remote thing, where you did it with the rock or the meteor.
Okay, good. It sounds like you all really had a good mission. You worked together as a team. You sound like you have lots of problems, but you work very good in making decisions. Not all decisions and all problems are predictable, and not all the answers are right, but we just keep trying, like that oxygen emergency. We really just worked with that until we got it solved.
Good job! Good job! Another successful mission at the Challenger Learning Center. Now, did you notice how important reading was to the mission? Reading really does make learning fun! If you'd like to learn more, here are some books you might want to read.
Comets, Meteors, and Asteroids, Rocks in Space by David J. Darling, and The Illustrated World of Space by Ian Nicholson.
And don't forget to visit the Challenger Learning Center in cyberspace. Their website is www.challenger.org. Okay, I've got to get my troop back in line. Come on, you hairy stars. Come on, get back on track. Hey, I'm going to make you do 100 laps around the sun. This is Captain Comet signing off for Field Trip.
Sight to a large star of your choice. Click the track ball button.
Where are the kids?
Oxygen leak, we only have 5 minutes to solve the problem. You need to move camera 2 the other direction, over your slice. The other direction. Look at your camera while you're moving. The wires were just used for testing, so what you want to do is take out all the wires, but leave the parts.